It is, of course, Free Speech Friday, the best day of a political talk show, because you don't get to hear just me, right? That's why everybody likes it. Well, today we've got a very, very good Free Speech Friday panel. Today, I'll tell you, they have more accolades and more things than I couldn't even possibly achieve in my lifetimes of being out there in the world. So let me introduce you to a couple of my friends today. Well, of course, we've got Cecilia Brooks, a 2025 candidate for the Elgin City Council, but is a first-generation American, deeply rooted in her community. She identifies as grassroots conservative, youth advocate, and devout Catholic. Brooks previously served as secretary for Kane County Young Republicans and has active in Elgin civic and political circles. Her campaign focused on youth empowerment, safety, and restoring community. Find her at Cecilia Brooks, CECILIAIBROOKS, for those of you that are playing at home. Quote from her: proud first-generation devout Catholic, prioritizing youth empowerment and improving community relations. Thank you very much for being here, madam.
Thank you back for having me. It's good to be back.
It is. We've also got a few other people with us, too, and that is Andy Williams Jr. is a justice reform advocate and a 2026 candidate for the Illinois Attorney General. Known as the jailhouse-turned-street lawyer, Williams brings lived experience as formerly incarcerated individual turned legal and political activist. His platform emphasizes government accountability, protecting civil liberties, and ending system misconduct. A public speaker and minister of justice, Williams advocates for policies that serve everyday people, especially the historically excluded and underserved. You can find him on Instagram at Andy_WilliamsJR. A great quote from his LinkedIn: I'm running for Attorney General of Illinois, the first formerly incarcerated jailhouse turned street lawyer in history to do so. Thank you very much for being here, sir. Really appreciate that.
Thank you for having me.
Get just a little closer to the microphone for me, if you wouldn't mind.
Good. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, appreciate that. And of course, the guy who comes in here to give us all of the best legal advice, because it's the best legal advice in the area, that comes from James M. Vasselli, a founding partner of Vasselli Law, LLC, where he specializes in municipal law, real estate development, public finance, and regulatory compliance. With over 20 years of legal experience, he represented numerous municipalities across northern Illinois, advising in zoning, tax increment financing, and land use, and other things that I will stumble over when I read them. His career includes prior work with the Delgado Law Group and roles in public service. He's widely recognized in legal directories for his expertise in local governments and law. I don't bet you didn't know that, sir.
I did not.
Yeah, a few different places out there. I'll have to send them over to you. But you can find Jimmy over at jmvchicagolaw.com. Trusted legal guidance tailored to the complexities of governance, development, and compliance. Thank you very much for being here, sir.
Thanks for having me, everybody.
So that was 5 minutes of pedigrees, so we definitely have everybody in here. So, of course, all that seriousness has to be countered with our silly debate of the day. Picture this: a crisp October night, porches glowing orange, the scent of pumpkins thick in the air, children in capes and masks parade from door to door, voices bright with anticipation. But then, amid the miniature vampires and astronauts, appear two fully grown adults, capes fluttering, plastic pumpkins outstretched. The homeowners hesitate. Laughter, admiration, quiet judgment. In that instant, Halloween's unspoken question emerges: when does the right to play expire? Is trick-or-treating an innocent act of community and nostalgia, or a ritual that belongs exclusively to children? At what age does the magic of the night become something we must surrender, and why? From the youngest of the group, I think, Cecilia, you should probably go first.
You know what? I think that a lot of people will argue that some people should drop this at some point in their lives. But I actually think it's so important for every human being, regardless of age, to still have a sense of youth and a childlike sense. It doesn't have to be what rules you, but it can also, it's important to be in touch with your inner child and to have that lighthearted and innocence still with you.
You could get away with trick-or-treating, though. So, come on. Those of you that are over there on YouTube, you know what
Don't
we're
expose my
talking
weekend plans, Sonar.
about. That's right. But, so you're saying it should just be, you know what, it's open. Whoever has that childhood spirit should have a pillowcase and a candy bar in it.
I mean, when you put it like that.
I was trying to make it flowery, but I guess not. I guess I made it creepy. But Mr. Williams, what do you think about this? Is it a community event? Should I have to bring a child with me when I go trick-or-treating? Hopefully mine.
Trick or treat, smell my feet, give me something good to eat. No, I think you should trick or treat as much as you want to, as old as you want to, because it's our freedom. It's our freedom. So I don't trick or treat, although I might do it this year with my granddaughter. I was a kid and I did trick or treating all the time, dressed up as a hobo, He-Man. You know, my brother was Skeletor. So I like trick or treating. So I think as long as you want to do it, it's safe, it's fun. Continue to do it.
For all ages, right?
You could be 77, 91, 2. Come on through.
Jimmy, is it about the candy? You can trick or treat all you want to. You can dress up like a weirdo all you want to. But do I have to give you candy if you show up to my house?
If I show up to your house, I would expect candy, but that's because of our friendship and our working relationship. I think 14 should be a cutoff age. I do think it's somewhat arbitrary. But I would be a little creeped out if I showed up at my door dressed up as, let's say, Sasquatch or Shrek and demanded candy. I think, to me, it would be somewhat like The Strangers, the movie, showing up in real life. So I think about 14 would be good.
What do you do for Halloween after 14?
We used to have... And obviously, if any of your kids get arrested for this, please call me at VasselliLaw.com. But we would get in shaving cream fights, which I'm sure is very illegal. We would get in egg fights where we would hurl eggs at each other. And now with the price of eggs rising, probably not the best ammunition. And other such ballyhoo after the age of 14. So I am all for haunted houses. I'm all for scary movies. I am all for Halloween. But I just think that I think I'm just a little bit too old to trick-or-treat at this point in time.
Cecilia, think about that. Back in the day, our eggs and toilet paper were so readily available and cheap that we hurled them at our enemies.
I think that we should make it a goal to get back to that, to stabilize our economy enough
of minor vandalization. That's the goal that we need to get to.
Everyone must have dreams. If there's a will, there's a way.
Well, more fun to come here. Of course, Free Speech Friday is where we bring on the panel and bring them on to talk about a few different things. We've got a few subjects, of course, that are pretty serious we want to get into. And, of course, we're going to have our game. What Free Speech Friday will it be without a political game? So stick around. We've got more to discuss here on A Political Talk Show on WRMN with my good friends Cecilia. We've also got Mr. Andy Williams Jr. and we've got Jimmy Vasselli. Stick around, more to come. Welcome back to A Political Talk Show here on WRMN. My name is Dennis Green. This is Free Speech Friday. Let me bring on the Free Speech Friday panel. That, of course, is Cecilia Brooks, Mr. Andy Williams Jr., and Jimmy Vasselli. Thank you all very much for being here.
Thank you for having us. It's good to be back.
So let's just get serious for just a little bit. You know, sometimes we do have to talk a little bit about the news, but I want to talk a little bit about the protests from kind of like a legal standpoint for everything. Public property, right? We're allowed to be on public property. What makes it public property? If we weren't allowed to be on it, it would be private property. So there's a lot of things back and forth with what is public, what is not, what is safety concern, what is obstruction. First thing I want to say, just to put it out there, just so that you know where I stand, I think all protests should be inconvenient. I think that makes it a protest as opposed to just people shouting. But let's talk about the legalities of it. So blocking of driveways, a no-no. Blocking of pedestrians being able to go through the public side of it, also a no-no. But what are some of the things that we should be looking out and kind of almost policing ourselves with some things? Because it goes beyond just where we stand. There's a lot of times with protests where, okay, maybe there's some profanity. Maybe there is a noise ordinance. Maybe there is just obscenity in general for it. Where do we, or at least where do you, panel, stand with how to protest? Where is the boundaries? Where should the focus of the actions be, as opposed to maybe obstruction or maybe that gray area of legality? What is some, I guess what I'm asking, or what are some good protesting tips that we could kind of give some people out there that want to have their voices heard?
Number one, make it peaceful. I believe there are a few things I love on this planet more than a good protest. I really, because I do. I don't have to agree with what you're protesting, but the fact that you were able to protest, go you.
Fantastic.
Heck yeah, that's your right. But keep it peaceful, keep it respectful. You can do that while also making your voices heard.
So now respectful is, what am I supposed to say? Please, Secretary Nome, please let these people out. They don't, like, what do we do?
So, I would say more so respectful of the space in which you are protesting, whether that's a neighborhood, right? You can absolutely make your voice heard, but if it's going to be at 12:30 in the morning or in the middle of the night, maybe don't use a bullhorn, you know. But I definitely think that you can make your voices heard and keep it peaceful while also being able to protest.
So you're saying no inconvenience at all other than just being there?
Yeah, well, and I would common sense. I get that that's not nearly.
But I
as
don't want you
common.
to advocate for anything nefarious either. So that's the other side too.
Yeah, I think there's everything in moderation, right? You can get your voices heard. If it's daytime, absolutely make it loud, but definitely don't hinder other citizens, other random citizens. I feel like that's just like a mutual respect.
Andy, if I have a message, I got to get out. It's bottled up inside. If I don't let it out, I don't say something. Where do I go? Do I get involved with a group? Do I go march down a street? Do I start a blog post? To again age myself. So what do I do if I have a message that I feel so passionate about? I have to do something.
Well, there's different options that individuals can do, and I think for me, I like to take it to the courtroom and the boardroom. That's the way. With the minor thing, taking it to the ballot, to the voting booth. I think historically we've been marching and protesting and rallying, and is that what's going to happen for the rest of our life? And I've told my attorney one day, I don't want to die an abolitionist. So there's things that's just got to change, and at some point our liberty and our rights should be protected, and part of the way to do that is that we as the people say, I'm going to protest, I'm going to elevate the way I protest. A different way. I don't want to do the same things that was going on 50 years ago, because obviously it's not working. We got to have a new thing. And my peaceful protest, I just want to sit at home, read a book, and chill, and not have to worry about somebody saying, "Hey, we got to do this." Hey, like, at what point do we just create a more perfect union?
And then, I guess what you're advocating for is to protest in front of 5 people in the right room. It's still have that voice, still put it out there, but be in the room where it happens to kind of take something from Manuel.
Most definitely. I think there's a presumption all the way on both sides. They presume, well, you don't like this, or you don't, and sometimes it's just a lack of understanding. And again, my message is we need to create a more perfect union.
Mr. Vasselli, Ordinances. I'm going to just ask you real quick. Go ahead and say your piece.
No, please. I apologize.
Where do we find the balance of amendment rights and constitutional rights and city ordinances? Because a lot of times city ordinances might not necessarily be copacetic all the time.
No, agreed. And there's a lot of legal challenges about this, and there'll be more to come. I know an order came out today from the Illinois federal courts, the Northern District, about the fence in Broadview, for example. I've not had the opportunity to read the order, but I do know from just summary that the fence is required to come down. And we have to have a balance, right? There has to be a level of safety and protection, health, safety, welfare. And we talk about things such as time, place, and manner. And those things need to be respected. But I think you made an excellent point. If it's a protest, it has to be somewhat inconvenient. Like if it's just, okay, that's great, and everybody's passing around, lollipops and buying the world a Coke, no change is going to come from it. But I think Mr. Williams raises an excellent point, too, that some forms of protest should be ballot box, they should be board meetings, they should be county board meetings, and they should be lawsuits. And these things, you can't have so much that you're stopping ambulances or you're stopping fire trucks, you're stopping police trucks. You can't have that. Just can't have that. People can't die because of it. But it also has to be inconvenient so that people take notice of these things, or you're never going to get change.
So only mildly inconvenient, right?
Correct.
There's a fantastic song by Malvina Reynolds that I absolutely love as far as the protest type of songs. And she says in that same thing, it isn't nice to block up a hallway. It isn't nice to shout. It isn't nice to go to jail. It isn't nice to stage a sit-in. But if that is freedom's price, we don't mind, is the way that she puts it. So I guess we're hitting a point in our nation where we're testing that free speech again. And don't think that this is a once in an American history type of thing that's going on right now. We constantly have our freedoms tested. They're constantly put to the test, and it's up to the Supreme Court and our legislators to all steward that freedom that's part of it. Mr. Williams, will you tell me a little bit about your campaign and how you will take that? I've got about 90 seconds for it.
So I affirm to keep the Constitution and protect the rights of the people. And that's what I think has been lacking. And so it's been lacking so much so it's just then got to where elected officials are violating their oath and they're assuming the role of being parental control as opposed to being servants. So as my role as the Attorney General, which is what I do now, is to be an advocate of the people, for the people, because I'm one of the people.
Well, thank you very much. That's a great way to put that, because we are the people. That's what it needs to be done. Gettysburg Address put that really well, and thank you for reminding us of it. When we come back, we are going to continue just a little bit. I pulled a little bit of information here about the fence. So I've got a few things about that temporary restraining order by U.S. District Judge LaShonda Hunt. Was granted ordering ICE to dismantle and remove the fence by Tuesday night, I think is how they've got it. So stick around, more Apolitical Talk Show coming up after this. Don't forget, we've got the Hampshire Whippers game that's coming up this evening as well. More to come on WRMN. Welcome back to Apolitical Talk Show. We need to make it just a club type of thing. What I'll do is once we get the other side of the world, we'll just make a political club, just like Gears does. Greater Area Republicans.
Greater Elgin Area Republicans. No, but you had it. 3 out of 4.
So close.
3 out of 4.
Acronyms. I got too many of them. I got ICE. I got TRO. I got all of these things that are over here. Speaking of TRO, first off, let me welcome back in our Free Speech Friday panel. This is a political talk show, and it is Free Speech Friday. We've got Cecilia Brooks, we've got Andy Williams Jr., and we've got Jim Vasselli. Find all of them on the intranets. They're there. Trust me. That's how I looked them up. So we've got the fence in question. This is an 8-foot barrier that was placed by ICE around Broadview Processing Center on or near Beach Street, according to WTTW News. The local officials, the village of Broadview, its fire department, etc., they had a press conference just a couple of days ago about it, but they challenged the installation, arguing it was built without necessary permits on a public street under municipal jurisdiction. It blocks access for first responders, fire trucks, ambulances, etc. It may impede emergency services. It imposes risks on adjacent businesses and public safety by interfering with local rights of way. So in response, ICE and the supporting federal defendants asserted it installed the fence to protect federal agents and federal property and to prevent interference from protesters. U.S. District Judge LaShonda Hunt granted the temporary restraining order, ordering ICE to, quote, dismantle and remove the fence by a specific deadline. It looks like Tuesday night following the order, unless further court action interferes. So, or intervenes, sorry, they never interfere, they intervene. So let's bring on the resident lawyers and those of us here at the Brain Trust that love this political wonky stuff. But let's start with you, Jimmy, with this. First off, it sounds like it was asinine just to put the thing up anyway, or at least put it up, then go get your permits. At least they could have retroactively done it. Where does, what is it called? Sovereign domain. Where does sovereign domain come with this?
You know, I thought that when I saw the litigation, and I agree with the protests, agree with everything. I just want to say that the people in Broadview who are affected by this, I think no one wants that for them, right? You want to just go bring your kids to school. You want to make sure that your businesses run appropriately and everything like that. So what do they say? Thoughts and prayers. You know, you really want the best for the community. But I thought that this would hinge on sovereign immunity. And I thought that this case would be more decided on the fact that the federal government has a right and is not bound by the jurisdiction of lower bodies, that lower bodies, more subordinate bodies like municipal bodies. I have not read the order. So I think that that's what you were getting at with regards to those issues. These are, we talk about this a lot, these multi-jurisdictional legal issues where there's federal law, there's state law, and there's local law.
And Illinois is even worse for it, right?
Illinois is the most, we love our taxing districts. Like if you need a taxing district, come to Illinois. And if you need representation as a taxing district, call James Vasselli at Vasselli Law. But on a serious note, I did think that it might hinge on that. I've not read the order, but I also, you know, it's not a stellar, if the holding comes down to one of two things, I don't think it's that much far afield, in so much that if it is, you can't get a fire truck or a safety truck through this area, people are going to die because of this. Yeah, take the fence down, right? Like that. Yeah. That's not a lot there. Number one. Number two, I agree with you. Only a lawyer can make a yes or no question into a paragraph, right? But I agree with you that it is go in and get your permits afterwards. Go at least apply, right? Like maybe I should be the Secretary of Homeland Security, but at least apply for the permits and come in there, go to the bathroom before you go to Broadview, and come and try to get your permits, and at least say we're making an application. And while it's pending, Your Honor, we think the status quo should remain.
Would that have stalled the TRO at that point? Would she not have put the TRO in if they were in the process?
So what I would have done, I mean, I'm a brilliant lawyer, but I don't think that this is a tremendous amount of strategy. This is a Napoleonic strategy here. Like go in and try to get the permits rolling and say, well, let's see. It's not a ripe conflict at this point in time because we have to see if they reject or approve the permits. I would have ran in that moment and applied for the permits and be like, we're waiting to hear back.
With you have it, like you can apply online.
Yeah. Oh yeah. In Broadview, I know a little bit about the village. They are a very well-run village, very good mayor, very well-run village, and they make everything very easy. So we'll see. I didn't read the order, but again, you asked me a yes or no question. I gave you about 3 paragraphs in an encyclopedia. I apologize for that.
That's
but,
okay.
Those were my take away from what you asked.
I don't think people realize I have 10 hours a week I have to fill. So yes, speak away. So Mr. Williams, let's ask you about this, but let's come out a little bit more. Instead of just all about the fence and all about where we can put the fence, can't put the fence, let's talk about where we can put freedom of speech and where we can't, because that's why the fence was put up to begin with. Do you think we should have these, what do they call them, free speech zones? The Madam Chair for King County did that last year, I believe. And now Kristi Noem is turning around and saying, well, maybe we should have a free speech zone. I would really like to ask some of the King County Republicans about that, but that's okay. They're not on my show. You are, sir. So what do you think about the free speech zone, where it's all put away, it's all set in that side where we can move emergency vehicles and we can have regular traffic that's coming on? Is that infringing on a right? Is that maybe a compromise? Where do you fall on this?
So, just so I'm clear, you're talking about the ICE situation going on in Broadview.
Yeah, or just in general.
So, in general, the same way. Free speech does not give you the right to infringe upon my rights. And I think so often we're so me, my rights, but you're not realizing that you're infringing upon somebody else's rights by arguing about your alleged rights, which I think we all have rights, but your right does not supersede my right. And because we don't teach these rights in school, we don't teach them in our home, we're moved with a bunch of emotional responses that are moved on feelings as instead of principles and morals and values, and you're asking somebody to make a conscious decision that does not have the necessary framework and ingredients to make that conscious decision.
So you're saying because of the lack of education, people don't necessarily have the respect for a protest, or even then you're wielding a thing that you don't necessarily know its full power.
Correct.
Okay.
That's exactly how I feel about that. And so then there comes a level of patience, but with how everything's moving so fast, how do you balance that out? And I'm always going to say, I'm cool with however we got to do whatever we're doing. I can turn the other cheek or turn the blind eye to it unless you are infringing upon my rights. And I have my rights, and I'm very well aware of what my rights are and where they come from. And so we see these things brewing, and in my personal opinion is we have broken people being elected into certain offices, so they're bringing that brokenness into this, and so it's no longer your oath that you're upholding your opinion, and that's where we're at today.
Andy brings up a good point, Cecilia, of education, right? Maybe if one of the ICE agents came down and said, hey, I appreciate your right to scream at me and say whatever you want to, but could you please at least let us move? Or is that just an olive branch too far? Or is it just people want this? There's a lot of animosity in our country right now. It almost seems like people want to protest with this. They want to light this match.
A population is much easier to control when they're divided.
That's very true.
And I don't ever think that any olive branch is too much. I actually think that that would help a lot of things if we could somehow meet in the middle. And I don't believe that we are past that. I really don't. I don't think we're ever going to be past that. And I think that if we take a stand now, it would mean a lot. I'm sure, of course, I'm sure if an ICE agent came down, there's going to be protesters that maybe are still going to be relentless. But I think that there would be a decent amount that would see, hey, this person is extending an olive branch, like maybe we can meet them in the middle. And it can be a mutual understanding and respect for each other. Like, yes, you have every right to protest. Can we try to find a way to collaborate and just let it be just that mutual respect and understanding between us? And maybe the protesters would respect them too for having enough integrity to be transparent and to be straightforward. And I don't ever think that we need to get past the point of communication.
Jimmy, in your profession, is it all about the one phrase? Is it all about the just one missing piece of knowledge to really put the whole picture together? Or do you really need somebody to walk you through every single thing like this? Or is there just an epiphany moment of like, oh, I didn't know Texas versus the United States in 1984? Or, you know what I mean? Like,
I would like to say that there's always an epiphany moment, and I always have it, but it's not that way. It needs to be, I think it needs to be walked through. We say this, and I think you and I share this phrase a lot when we're on here, that this is a very unique and evolving time. And the idea of a free speech zone, it's just, to me, it's almost like, well, let's just put somebody in a corner and not have them out there. And that, to me, is very problematic, because the First Amendment is the most important amendment. If we cannot speak up for ourselves, if we cannot allow those things to go on and to be able to voice our opinions, we have nothing. The two most important things to me that come out of the Bill of Rights, the free exercise of religion, the ability to free speech, those first come from the proactive First Amendment rather than the reactive other amendments, such as the right to a jury trial, to be judged by our peers and not by a monolith, not by like a Kafka novel where they just say you where you're at. So to me, a free speech zone, it can become problematic because it turns into something where you just put somebody, you got a postage stamp and then you're good. Like, that doesn't work for me. So,
but you have free speech as long as you use this list of approved words and as long as you do it over there.
Right.
Right? Exactly. I mean, we've had time and time again, the Supreme Court has said that you have the freedom to burn a flag. We now have a president who has said we are going to remove that freedom of speech. Where do we, verbatim, by the way, too, what do we do about that? How do we protest freedom of speech without being called terrorists or anything else that's there? Where's this Rubicon that we're seeing, Cecilia?
Well, like I always advocate for, I am very much against rules for thee and not for me. If it's something that the Democrats did that we don't like, we can't just, as Republicans, as Democrats, we cannot just say, well, I don't like it when you're doing it, but now that I'm in charge, it's okay. It's not, no, it's not okay. I don't believe in double standards. And do I personally like that people burn the flag? No. But is that their right? Absolutely. And I do believe that because that is their right, it is not to be infringed upon, period. Well, it does not matter who else is sitting in the Oval Office.
The freedom of speech is for physical speech. This right here, for the most part, things that come out of my mouth into the world. Being online is not freedom of speech. You are using the platform of somebody else. It's like if I went over to, I don't know, any theater, I went down to the Hymns and just started saying whatever I want to. They can kick me out. I'm on their platform. I'm there saying stuff. So I think a lot of people confuse freedom of speech in the digital realm where it's easy. A couple clicks of the keyboard, boom, I'm a warrior. I'm fighting for freedom. A couple clicks, and then they get mad and then go, well, you shut us down. You canceled us. No. The company canceled you. The company that they kicked you off the stage. This is the actual government turning around and saying, no, you can't say that. Is there a difference in this, Sandy? Is there something we should be more alarmed when a corporation turns around and says you can't say that thing? Okay. But when the United States comes in and says you can't say that thing, is this a massive red flag, or is this just something that all politicians say?
I don't know all politicians, but I remember Citizens United versus FEC. They said they have a First Amendment right, and then people was like, oh, that's so bad. I'm like, no, actually it's not bad, because then you can use your organizations to do the same thing that Citizens United just said. And I think we react so much instead of really understanding the benefit of what's happening. The other thing is, like Council here said, we can use litigation. Again, I'm big on the very first thing that Congress ever passed was the Oath Act, and it's always being violated. I'm more focused on judges, judicial and prosecutorial misconduct, because those are the ones that we really should be looking to say, hey, here's what the our rights are. This whole litigation stuff, it's overbearing. It's like that's all we ever do. Want to run to the courtroom, and I talk about it, but I've litigated a lot, and that's not where I want to do. I think it's just too much, but we have to stand up and understand where our rights come from.
Should there be a rubber stamp for First Amendment? Nope. First Amendment, sorry, done. I mean, there's almost practically one now when you turn around with the jurisprudence of the Supreme Court. But even that has started to falter. Let's talk just a little bit about that, Jimmy, before we go to break over here. I'm going to try to say it again. I was lucky I got away with it first time. Jurisprudence, right?
Jurisprudence.
This is where we say, okay, this is how the law has just been established, right? So there's no reason to relitigate it. There's no reason to bring it back up and say, oh, you know what? Yeah, that corpse still smells bad. Let's put it back in the ground. Like, it's jurisprudence now has started to kind of shift with certain things. Has it been more of a modern side post Citizens United era type of judges? Or is this just something that society's going to go through anyway?
I think it is something that society goes through anyway. What I think the changes in the socio-psychological, to use a really big, that's my quarter word for the day, Sonar.
I like it.
A real big word is people are used to activist, progressive judges. Activist, but they are not used to activist conservative judges or conservative government. Usually it's more of a passive type of thing, but this is a more active conservative type of, I'm going to say the word regime. I don't mean, it's a charged word. I don't mean it that way, but administration.
There you go.
And I think that is something that makes people a little bit more uncomfortable than a more progressive and proactive. And I just think that's shocking to people a little bit. Listen, it's America. It's the great experiment, okay? And whatever it is, we're going to be okay. Like, we're going to be okay. This is America. It's the greatest country ever, and it's the greatest experiment we ever done as a society, and it's going to go through. We're having some, like, I would say growing pains, yes. But let's say middle-aged pains. Like, I at my age, I wake up and I'm sore. So we're sore this week. I'm not making light of all this, but we're going to make it through. We need to remember that we're going to make it through, and we are all Americans together. And to me, that's very, very important.
That's a great message there. 250 years, right? Oh, your bell's over here. Here you go. There you go.
Thank you.
250 years. This is, for some nations, the edge of the experiment. Can we make it, Cecilia?
We absolutely can make it, but to Jimmy's point, we definitely are all American at the end of the day. And we also, I would say, the majority of Americans, I get that there are extremes on both sides, and all of that needs to be called out. 1,000%. But I also believe the majority of Americans are actually pretty moderate and somewhere in the middle. I really do believe that. And if we focus on the priorities, like, for example, making our American economy strong again and keeping our taxes low and really just staying out of each other's business, things like that. There's a lot of more bipartisan issues than the extremes on both sides. And I think that if we encourage our legislators to act on our priorities based on making those real tangible differences in our communities, then us as Americans and the country itself would be a much better off society. And I don't believe we are past that. I really don't.
Andy, policies over people, or are we just going to keep going cult of personality, or do we need to go back to the foundation?
Well, the people have the power. And when we really realize that we have the power, we created government. It's like the created is overtaking the creators, and we need to reverse that.
It's true. The social contract is what we are experiencing right now, right? Us, the governed, say, okay, as long as you do an okay job, D+, we won't do really any kind of things, but that's the social contract at the end of the day. Look, the same kind of thing, more of us than them and all of that other stuff. And I think that's where organization and kind of unity come, whether you unify under a club or you unify under a party. What we really need to start looking at is going back to unifying under the nation.
Yes. Unify
under being an American, right? Like, by all means, there are hundreds of minority groups that we all live in, right? whether you're a redhead or whether you are a member of a certain club. Like even then, you're a member of Knights of Columbus. That's a minority group. You are disabled. That's a minority group. You're a man. That's actually women, 51%, I think, here in the United States. So that's what I mean is we need to stop looking at how we are all different and go back to, yeah, I have my differences. They're super fun, and I appreciate you coming into them. But let's go back to how we are together. We all live in Illinois. We're all in this room. We all live in the United States. We all believe that the Constitution is what needs to govern what we have here. That's why we live in a republic. We say, look, the Constitution and the way it's put together and these laws, cool. That's what I'm okay with. So I'm going to live here in this republic with you guys. That's where I think we need to take everything back to. And I'm not saying to the center. I'm not saying take it back. I need to pull the right left and I need to pull the left right and all of that. Have your beliefs, have whatever club or belief or thing that you've got, as long as we take it back to the foundation of what this nation was. So, with that rabble-rousing speech that we've all put into, really appreciate, this is why I love Free Speech Friday. Ooh, man, my political juice is going. So we've got some more Free Speech Friday coming around here on Apolitical Talk Show. It is the top of the hour, so we are going to have top of the hour news. When we come back, I've got a couple little, silly news things, here or there. We'll talk about a couple of them with the Free Speech Friday panel. Stick around. We also have our Free Speech Friday game. I think what we're going to do is maybe some laws, since we've got the prospective state's attorney and we've got a councilman here as well. Thank you very much all for being here with us. Apolitical Talk Show will be right back after this. And my name is Dennis Sonar Green. It is the best day of the week to listen to Apolitical Talk Show. And of course, that's today, not just like Friday, but like the best day of the week to listen to Apolitical Talk Show is today, is what I mean. I'm going to put it on a bumper sticker, but I can't find a bumper sticker large enough. So thanks for listening. Apolitical Talk Show is on WRMN Monday through Friday, 4 to 6. That's when we do it. We also podcast a few episodes here or there, mostly when I don't talk about the current news, when we do more of an in-depth dive. What did we talk about this week? We've talked about the AI singularity. We've also talked about Maslow's hierarchy of needs, but putting it through a political lens. Maybe that's why everybody's so angry. Maybe they just need a hug. Or as Bob Marley says, even when we put it into the podcast, a hungry man is an angry man. What are you hungry for? So we looked at the, I guess, the nutrition chart of, or the nutritional pyramid of Maslow's hierarchy of needs. It was a pretty cool one. It's going to go into our evergreens as we cycle things around too. So let me introduce some of my friends that are over here today. It is the top of the hour, a new hour. So therefore, I got to make sure you know who we are talking to today. Let's first go with our newest friend over here in the show. That, of course, is Andy Williams Jr., is a justice reform advocate and 2026 candidate for the Illinois Attorney General, known as the jailhouse turned street lawyer. Williams brings lived experience as a formerly incarcerated individual turned legal and political activist. You can find him on Instagram at Andy_Williams Jr. He has been quoted as saying, "I'm running for Attorney General of Illinois, the first formerly incarcerated jailhouse turned street lawyer in history to do this." Thank you, Andy, for being here. We appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you.
We've also got a recurring guest here on the panel. That, of course, is Jimmy Vasselli. James M. Vasselli is the founding partner of Vasselli Law, LLC, where he specializes in municipal law, real estate development, public finance, regulatory compliance, With over 20 years of legal experience, he has represented, not a double D, numerous municipalities across northern Illinois, advising on zoning, tax increment financing, and law use of land. Find him at jmvchicagolaw.com. Jimmy, what is tax increment financing?
That's an excellent question. Excellent question, my friend. So a tax increment financing is established through the municipal code, and it is a vehicle by which developments are incentivized and public projects are incentivized by capturing the increase of tax growth and applying that to either infrastructure needs, other taxing bodies' needs, and or developers. So if you think of it, there's some really bad radio, but if you think of it as an angle going up and a baseline on the bottom, that middle part, that triangle, is where the TIF, the tax increment financing, comes through. The city of Chicago is very liberal with its TIF, and we try to be creative, but within the realms of reason and what we believe the spirit of the law is. Very dangerous thing lawyers say when they talk about the spirit of the law, but we try to keep it so that you don't hurt the schools, you don't hurt the libraries, you don't hurt the park districts, but you still reward or incentivize, I shouldn't say reward, bad word. We induce or incentivize people to take risks on public and private projects.
That's the number one way to incentivize people by the government. Either hit them in their wallet or put them in jail. But it's great to do that. You've seen a few of these around your area. Schaumburg just did a massive project that was over there. We've also got Naperville is also looking at beautifying its downtown. So many different areas that are coming up because back to that TIF that's in there. And the third amigo over here, or should I say amiga, that is Cecilia Ivana Brooks, is the 2025 candidate for Elgin City Council at large still. We'll see what she does here in the other ones. At first and a first-generation American deeply rooted in her community, she identifies as grassroots conservative, youth advocate, and devout Catholic. Brooks previously served as secretary for Kane County for the Young Republicans, and her campaign focused on youth empowerment, safety, and restoring community trust in local governance through bold, values-driven leadership. Is it easy to install trust with the community and government back and forth? Is it just, no, it's not easy? Are you sure? No, I'm just
All in a day's work, right? No, it is not easy at all, but it is absolutely necessary.
Seems like a lot of spinning plates for all of the people we have here, and I appreciate you all giving us your time. So let's go a little bit into some of these ridiculous things that are happening around the world. I don't know if you've known this or not, but the French post office rolls out a new croissant-scented stamp. That's right, scented stamps designed to celebrate artisan croissants hit letterboxes across France on Wednesday, honoring the world-famous delicacy. First thing I'd like to ask you all is, what scent would you like a stamp to have?
Ooh.
If you had a scratch and sniff thing, you were I guess you could put scratch and sniff stickers on your letter anyway, but like, what? It's so much better for the stamp, right?
It's a 2-in-1.
Yeah.
Is this limited to consumable, like scents?
Any scent. If you can smell it, they can make a stamp out of it.
Ooh.
Andy, you got one?
Frankincense and myrrh.
Ooh,
Yeah,
spicy.
Yeah.
That's a pretty good one. Not patchouli, though.
Call me a treat because I'm stumped. Back to you, Mr. Vasselli.
Mr. Vasselli, what do you got?
I am going to go with, how about vanilla ice cream?
Vanilla ice cream.
Vanilla
That's
ice
a
cream.
great choice.
Thank you.
That's it, with that vanilla side. And ice cream in particular,
Yeah.
too. It's not just the vanilla smell.
Right.
It's there.
final decision, Chanel number 5. It never goes out of style.
My goodness. Okay.
Timeless, classy.
You're just rubbing stamps all over. let me just get.
I just ran out. I just
I've got
have
a
a
hot
late
date.
night.
I gotta just put in some stamps, hide some stamps in here. Okay, that's fantastic, guys. I'm not sure what I would do. I love oranges. Oranges are fantastic. Probably my favorite flavor too. So maybe that smell. Citrus all day.
Like a warm orange, like a chai tea orange, or like
Do you know those chocolate oranges? I think that might be the way to go.
So best of both worlds.
Yeah,
Like a
get
savory
little bit of
sweet.
both. That's in there. So,
Can I ask you a question?
Go ahead.
How do you feel about the orange soda from McDonald's?
Orange soda, like
Yeah.
the Fanta soda?
No, that comes out of the fountain. The
Oh,
orange
yeah.
soda. Yeah.
No,
Okay.
all day.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Sorry about that.
I go over, even then, grape is fantastic too.
Grape
I
is
love
severely
grape.
underrated.
Right? See, it's a sleeper. It'll get you.
Cherry vanilla Coke.
Taco Bell has this new Baja. It's called Midnight Baja. It is grape. It's grape Baja. Yeah,
I haven't
just
had
letting you know.
that yet.
Letting you know, as a Taco Bell connoisseur, and by that I mean I only get the same 3 things, but it's, it's
Okay.
fantastic.
Hold on, and I'm sorry. I know.
Okay.
What are the 3 things?
What are
You
the
have
3
to know the 3
things?
things
Okay.
are.
Right, you can't
This
just
is-
say that.
This
right?
is the only time that this will be public. This is it.
Who's listening?
Heard that first here, listeners.
Because if I let this out, Taco Bell will adjust their app and I won't be able to do it anymore. So this is the one time. Everybody record it, do whatever you got to do. Just don't tell Taco Bell. On the app, if you get the quesadilla, you get like a quesadilla and like a taco and a drink, right? That's it. Pretty lame. If you get the make your own box and add chicken to your cheese quesadilla, you get the chicken quesadilla, a 5-layer burrito, and a drink and the side, whether it's the potatoes or everything, cheaper than the quesadilla by itself. That's it. That was the only time you're gonna get it. That's it. So mum's the word. Mum's the word. So that's it.
That's great.
Nobody said pumpkin spice, right? This is the time of the year, right? You throw pumpkin spice in there. Police in Ohio shared body cam footage of a pursuit of a giant inflatable pumpkin that broke free from the front of a local home and rolled through town.
Let him live. Let it live.
Was it the Great Pumpkin?
Good
Hopefully,
question.
that was it. This was actually yesterday. Police in Ohio shared body cam footage of that pursuit. Parma Heights Police Department said on social media that officers found themselves, quote, in hot pursuit of a giant inflatable pumpkin, unquote, rolling through town in the early hours of Wednesday. Officers explained that he had been chasing the pumpkin down the road. Let me see if I can pull up some of those pictures for us here to show everybody. I know, I'm the guy who designed it, but they keep changing it on me. So here we go. Screen this one. Give me just a second as I hum through my...
Plot twist, guys.
right?
We're the pumpkins.
We're the pumpkins, right? This is it here. So big old giant pumpkin. Look at
that's huge.
Dog for scale. It looks like
House for scale.
that is big. That looks like easily a story and a half, if not 2. It definitely touches that attic.
Look at that. What's that called? The leaf? The stem?
Yeah, the stem. It's huge. And whatever they got going on, that's a tree. So we've got the police department had to deflate it, and that is it inside of the back there. Notice it's still lit up.
Did they read its Miranda rights?
We have seized the runaway pumpkin. So that is some of the silly news that we've got going on over here. We're going to do one more serious side, and then we will get to our game. No, in fact, I think Mr. Vasselli is checking out here, so we will up our game and bring that to the front. When we come back, we've got the Free Speech Friday game. Yay! Welcome welcome back to A Political Talk Show here on WRMN. We're just going to go through and maybe play our game for a little bit. I am going to give you all just a few things here or there. I'm going to give you 2 laws. You are going to tell me if this is a real law or a fake one. Or you can tell me which one is the fake one. Give me just a moment while I pull it up over here. Mr. Williams, will you tell me just a little bit about your campaign while I pull this up over here? I'm sorry? What are some of your policies that you would like to enact here if you get elected?
No policies am I trying to enact. I'm trying to repeal and eliminate a lot of these unconstitutional pieces of legislation that infringe upon our rights.
Is it back to not going back to the center, but back to the foundations, right?
100%. There's too many policies that I think that are, legislation for me is under the color of law. It's not law. It just has an appearance. And many of these pieces of legislation that have been passed infringe upon the people's rights in one way or another. And it takes us back to the republic, to a limited government, getting rid of these administrative agencies, but not, you don't have to do it forcefully. You just uphold the Constitution, affirm your oath, and things like that, and then we'd have a limited government.
Yeah, I believe absolutely that our government would be a lot better if we actually just followed all the rules that were already written.
Right.
I think, why make a new one? Why don't we just... aren't the ones, Jimmy, aren't the ones we have right now good enough? Why do we got to keep making more? Why don't we just get rid of some of them?
I agree. Just enforce the laws, follow your rules, and try to be a good person, right?
Absolutely. That is at least how morality, or at least the Enlightenment period that our founding fathers came from, at least did it. But at what point do you merge over into libertarian territory as opposed to Republican side of things?
Again, I really feel the Constitution puts the limit on government, and it's not being upheld. It's been the way so long that we think this is the way it is, and it's not the way it is. It's not written that way. So it's like you have not been taught what to do. You've just followed what you've seen everybody else do. And so now it's just tyranny. It's out of order, Somebody's a prosecutor one day and then you're a judge the next day, but you have no experience in this. So there's nothing that's shifting. There's no grace. There's nothing. And I just feel like this is, just using it as an example, but it's out of whack. It's out of whack.
It absolutely is. I agree with you. I think we need to go back to the foundations. I think more people need to, let me show off for a second, but more people need to carry this this book around with them, not just carry, but read it a little bit more.
And apply it.
Yeah, right.
Apply it, though. We could read all day long. We can read the scriptures. We can read the Constitution. We can read a romance novel. But until you actually apply what you read, that's where you see the change.
That's where I went wrong in dating. So here we go. Let's play our game a little bit. I'm going to give you 2 laws. You are going to tell me if that is which one is the real one and which one is the fake one. First off, we're going to go to Alabama. Is it one or the other? I'll give you both of them. It is illegal to wear a fake mustache in church if it causes laughter, or it is unlawful to wear a novelty hat in court if it provokes audible mirth. That must be a legal term. Mirth, audible mirth. Is that what happens in court sometimes?
Mirth and merriment.
Which one, panel? Which one do we have? We have Dino Delaley sitting over here too, operations manager of WRMN and part of let's see here. Let's go through the.
Let's not go through. Let me answer the goddamn question. I say it's a law because they had them silly laws back then that when you went to an intersection, you had to shoot a shotgun.
Which one's the silly law? Is wearing a fake mustache in church if it causes laughter, or no hats in court if it provokes audible mirth?
I would say because of disruptions back then, I don't know what year that was written. I would say it's an old law. I would go with the one with the court is probably on the books.
Court? Court or church? Which one?
Court.
Court.
I'll go church.
Church is it. It is illegal to wear a fake mustache in church if it causes laughter in Alabama. Stay away. Don't wear those fake mustaches. They didn't say anything about real mustaches.
They did say if
in
it
church.
caused laughter. And there's no laughing in church.
Here we go in Arizona. Is it illegal? Or I'm sorry, I'll give you the laws here. In Arizona, donkeys may not sleep in bathtubs, or goats may not be permitted to nap in sinks. This is a tough one here.
Goats can't
Which
nap
one?
in sinks.
So we got donkeys may not sleep in bathtubs, or goats may not be permitted to nap in sinks.
I'm going with the goats.
Goats. We've got goats can't be in sinks.
I've been an ass my whole life. I'll go with donkey.
Donkeys in bathtubs.
I agree with Dean, and for the same reason.
That's right.
Thanks a lot, John. Yeah.
That's right. Donkeys may not sleep in bathtubs in Arizona. Yeah, can't do that. Don't put your donkey to sleep in a bathtub. I don't
Your
know.
ass where it belongs.
Yeah, exactly. I don't want to talk about washing anything in tubs or anything.
Say that about that.
Here we go. Let's go to Berkeley. That's in California for those of you that, I don't know, may not know where Berkeley is. Is it illegal? I'm sorry. I wish I formatted these a little better. It is illegal to whistle blow for a lost canary before 7 a.m. in Berkeley, or it is permitted to clap for a missing parrot in Berkeley prior to 7 a.m. Let me give them to you again because I am terrible at delivery sometimes. Here we go. Which one is real and which one is fake? From California, Berkeley. It is illegal to whistle for a lost canary before 7 a.m., or it is prohibited to clap for a missing parrot prior to 7 a.m.
I'll say the whistle.
The whistling? Whistling before 7 a.m. It is illegal to do so if you lost a canary. That's what he says.
I'm going to go with the whistle.
Whistling canary.
I'll make good radio. I'll go for the parrot.
It is the canary. It is illegal to whistle for a canary before 7 a.m. in Berkeley. Yeah. Clapping for a parrot. How do you get that back?
How do you get the clap? What'd you say?
Get the clap?
I didn't hear what you said.
Clapping for a parrot.
Oh, clapping for a parrot. Sorry.
That's a whole different conversation.
Another subtle.
The morning show conversation.
Exactly. Connecticut, here we go. Let's give you one more before we get out of here. Thank you for joining us, Mr. Vasselli. I really appreciate that. We've got in Connecticut, is a pickle is not illegal. See, I'm going to do it every time. I don't know why I
Start
mess
having
up so
Sue read
much.
them for you.
Yeah, right? A pickle is not legally a pickle unless it bounces, or a corn dog shall not be advertised as a corn dog unless it exhibits the customary stick-borne rigidity. This is Connecticut.
Corn dog.
Corn dogs have to have a stick, or pickles have to bounce.
As you said, Connecticut.
Connecticut, yes.
Y'all got a
Connecticut.
stick kind of stuck up there.
We were just talking about Berkeley in California.
Well, Connecticut, you know.
I'm going with the corn dog.
The corn dog? A corn dog shall not be advertised as a corn dog unless it exhibits the customary stick-borne rigidity.
I'll go out with a win. Pickle.
Pickle. A pickle is not legally a pickle unless it bounces. That is correct.
What?
A pickle is not legally a pickle in Connecticut unless it bounces.
Bounces where? You dropping pickles and putting them in the jar? What is this?
You take them out and throw them on the ground.
A corn dog has a right not to have a stick. I think that's an important right that every corn dog in Connecticut should have. So,
Boneless corn dogs.
Yeah, boneless corn dogs.
Pigs in the blanket.
That's right. Hey, thank you very much for being here, Mr. Jimmy Vasselli.
Thank
Where
you.
can people find you out in the world?
In Elgin, in Oak Brook, or jmvchicagolaw.com. Please call if you have any legal issues.
That's it, jmvchicago.com. WRMN.com. That is Jimmy Vasselli. Thank you very much. Thanks for being here, and we hope to see you again on the next one.
Thanks, everybody. Thanks for having
Jimmy.
me.
Take care.
We're taking a quick break. We're going to bring Cecilia Brooks back into the fold over here, and we'll continue a little bit of our game and see where everybody else sits. You're listening to A Political Talk Show here on WRMN.